Welcome to the Face Ministries podcast, the #1 resource for learning what it means to have a healed heart, connect more deeply with Jesus, and experience true and lasting transformation in your life. I am one of your hosts, Melinda Wilson.
And I'm your other host, Kathy Little. Please hit subscribe so you don't miss any of the fresh content that we're continuing to release. And while you're at it, we greatly appreciate your help in getting the word out by giving us a 5-star rating and leaving us a quick review.
You can also keep up with us by following our social media by searching face-to-faceministries.org on Facebook. And that has no spaces, no numbers, and no caps. And on Instagram at face-to-face-min. And that is all one word.
Our team also offers one-on-one ministry sessions that can be done virtually. And one of our favorite things to do is to train others to do what we do in helping others connect with Jesus. So if you want information on that, we can help you out.
Yeah, and for more information about all the resources, including what Kathy's talking about, our trainings, our events that we offer, visit face-to-faceministries.org. And while you're there, please sign up for our newsletter.
All right, let's dive into today's episode.
Well, we're back.
We're back.
Hey,
and we're
everybody.
on video now too, and if you're on YouTube or something. But yeah, we've been gone for a while and we're happy to be back, and hopefully we'll be back a lot more often.
Yes.
You're going to learn in the podcast today why we have been a little distant and quiet. We've been really busy working behind the scenes. So we're glad that you're here. Happy to be back with you.
Yeah.
And hey, we're hoping some of you ladies are going to join us for Dashaway Weekend. That's coming up June 14 to 16 in Moravian Falls. So we'd love to have you guys do that.
That's North Carolina.
It is in North Carolina.
North of Charlotte.
And then we've got Tahoe coming up.
August 16th to
there you
18th.
go. August 16th to 18th. So we've got those 2 opportunities for you guys to come and be part of what we're doing with Dashaway, which I think a lot of people have heard about that if you've listened to the podcast. But dashawayweekends.com can give you all the information you need. But we've got a few spots left for North Carolina. So come on and join us. But yeah, we've been really busy building some things behind the scenes, and we're going to talk about those in today's podcast. We want to introduce you to our program designer and acting executive director, Jill Wolfe, who has been a gift from God to us straight from heaven. And we're so grateful for how she came into our lives and what she's brought into our lives and into the ministry, and how she has really helped us take it up a notch with what we're offering. So we're going to talk about all of that with her in the podcast, but we just wanted to give a special little warm intro here and let you know we're happy to be back and happy to be diving back in.
Thank you for diving back in with us, which the video part can be a little bit scary.
It is a little scary, but
that's okay. That's okay. It's good. And I know that I've seen other podcasts with video, and sometimes it's just fun to see people's faces. It's interesting and it feels more personable. And so whether you're listening or watching, we are so glad to be back and so glad that you are here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us. And by all means, subscribe, 5-star rating, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But bless y'all. And we'll dive into this interview here. We are back after like 4 or 5 months of not doing podcasts because we've been a little busy, and our guest today is actually part of why we're kind of been busy. But yeah, we've really been focused on some other stuff, but we wanted to introduce you to a new member of our team, and this is Jill Wolfe. And she has joined us as a program designer and actually acting as an executive director, which is kind of cool. Thank you, Jill. We thank you every day.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
I just call her boss, but she doesn't like that. So I said, can I call you jefe? And she's like, I don't know. That doesn't sound good. And it just means boss in Spanish.
It doesn't sound good at all.
Jefe. Come on. Look, we have Spanish speaking friends.
That's true.
It's Jefe. And so, but Jill does not particularly like that title, but we've appreciated her telling us what to do.
That's exactly right. Jill, do you enjoy telling us what to do? I'm just curious because we really enjoy having you tell us.
Well, I mean, I enjoy working together with you and I guess handing out assignments and working together on things. I'm a big collaborator, so I like to get in there with you and like talk it through. And Melinda and I, when we're processing out loud, can go really
Yeah.
long.
Yeah, true.
But
It's more of I beg her to tell me what to do. It's not that she's imposing what, like, I'm like, please tell me what to do. You should see. We were having a conversation today, and my computer, which just passed away, this 2011, bless you, Apple, 27-inch iMac, kind of went to Apple heaven. What do you call computers that pass away? But I have 29 sticky notes on there. And I said, I also have like 2 notebooks and then another piece of paper with all the things I'm supposed to do. And I said, Jill, admin and organization is not my gift. I have to grow in it. I just need someone to follow me around. I said, ooh, does anyone want to do that? I just need someone to follow me around and go, Melinda, you have a 2:00 meeting on Zoom. Melinda, at 3:15, you have a doctor appointment. At 4:00, you're supposed to exercise. So if anyone wants to volunteer, I know, but I can't.
You say you'd like that, but I have a feeling if someone was saying, no, you don't get to go for a walk right now. You've got to take this call.
Well,
no, you don't get to work right now. You may not like that so much.
But then I can mute them, like somehow. And it would have to be someone that I really like and that, I don't know, brings me chocolate or something. But don't go beating down the door for this job because I'm not paying you anything but my friendship, which is invaluable and worth all the money in the world.
Oh my goodness. Well, we ended up hiring Jill back in July of 2023 when we were like kind of at the end of our rope and not having a clue what was next. And she and her family came and camped out near where we did our dash away in Lake Tahoe last year. And then we spent about 10 hours in a boardroom after the weekend was over and really threw up everything that we have done, everybody
we wrote out everything.
Well, we threw it out on the table.
That's better. And we threw it out on the table,
which was covered with craft paper, and we had markers and Post-it notes. And Jill is kind of built for strategizing, and so she took all of what we had been doing and who we'd been serving, and helped synthesize it into something that made sense. And we're really grateful to her and some others that have spoken in to kind of help craft and build and bring cohesion to what we're doing. But Jill has really been the strategist working with us, and it has been a delight. And we really now have a solid training program for the Immanuel Approach, which is the inner healing model that Melinda and I use and primarily and are trained in, and we train others in. And so Jill helped us build CORE, which is a pretty robust training program. So how would you describe that program, Jill? You're the one that really helped us build it. What would you say would be a description of what we're doing and how we're training people?
Well, the official way that we look at it is a community of individuals who are training to become facilitators of the Immanuel Approach. And so there's some one-on-ones for their own healing journey. There are tracks where they practice under the eye of a coach on each other. This model needs a live person. So it makes training, you can't all be just classroom learning or, taking notes and in a training session. You actually have to do it. So there's a lot of pieces that are done live together. And so it's been kind of fun to put this together and see what does an effective facilitator Immanuel Approach need in terms of their skills, and what does development of those skills look like? How do we track that? How do we help them grow? So that's kind of it in a nutshell, and we're having fun.
Yeah.
Well, I have to just give this woman accolades, but I don't want to give her too much because then you're going to want to hire her, and she doesn't have time for you right now. Time. But anyway, we talk about having these sticky notes. I do. Kathy's very organized. We're opposite. And so basically we came with 5,000 ideas to Jill, and somehow a week later, it was like she put it in a machine, this huge butcher paper with literally different colored pieces of paper. To me, it looked like, or yay, party. And she, a couple weeks later, maybe a week, came back with this huge strategy and organized all those thoughts that, as Kathy said, we threw up on the table, or threw out. And I thought, what kind of person is this? And I didn't know they existed. And I thought she must have some kind of machine where you put everything disorganized into a thing and it spits out this perfect strategy. I'm like, can I have one of those? So then we hired Jill because we needed that kind of help. And so Jill, I feel like it's really poignant that we are sort of whatever season this is that we're in as far as the podcast, and it has been so many months. It's poignant and appropriate that we dive back in with you, Jill, because it really is a new season with Face to Face Ministries.
Yeah.
And you have helped reshape and steer us in a direction that actually feels like it has wind behind it. And we have a much clearer direction. And I think that Kathy and I were really floundering a lot. We had so many ideas and visions. And a lot of people would come in and then say, oh, you could do this and this and this. And then Kathy and I are like, neither of us have those gifts. And so what happened with Jill is that now she has taken all this information or ideas that have been stirring in us for years and the experience we have in the training, and helped then put it into a vision and a mission that we can actually make a reality. We can actually put it out there for people that makes sense. And I feel like, and give language to it and structure. So Jill, you've added a component that has been missing for quite a while, and we didn't even really know what we needed. So thank you for being part of this. So those that are listening to the podcast, it's totally relevant. And like I said, poignant that Jill is our first guest after all these months because of what has been happening behind the scenes. And we've been so full with our schedule that we haven't had time to do the podcast, but now it's time to really relaunch. And so that y'all can hear what exciting things are happening and what God's doing with Face to Face, and inviting you to be part of that.
Yeah, we've actually been surprised and delighted by how many people come to the different trainings and Dashaway events, people that have found us because of the podcast. And so we realize it's a very valuable way to keep in touch with everybody. And y'all can just turn us on while you're driving to work or whatever, and hear what's going on. And it has been a very, very exciting season for us. It's also been incredibly challenging because, I mean, this is a whole new day and we're building something from scratch. But thankfully, we're not doing that alone. And we are right now, we've got 35 students that are in our core program, and we're getting ready to open the doors for that again next week. We're only opening that up 3 times a year because we onboard them in cohorts, just kind of keep cohesion along the way. And we've got different coaches that we're training up, and they are working with our students as well. We're doing monthly demonstrations with a live debrief. We're doing training blocks and progress calls. And one of the things, Jill, you've got this educator background. So you think in a way, I have no concept of how you think with like the context of how people learn and what they need to help them learn. And so you're actually teaching us how to train in a way that's more effective. So that's some of your background as well. You have any thoughts on that? We're talking a lot. I want to make sure we get to hear from you as well.
Yeah. Designing a program starts with thinking, what is the end result that I really want? A well-designed program. What are we going after that we want to send out the door? And what does that look like? What does that sound like? What is it? Effectiveness? And you both had this in your head. So for listeners, I just took what they already had in their head and helped them pull it out and see, this is what we can develop, but how do we do that to get there? And then I brought in my expertise with learning, and how do people learn, and how can people learn on a live subject, and how do people learn in community, and how do they do it on Zoom, and what pieces are they needing? What are we seeing as we watch the students? Some of it we're learning as we go what students need. Yeah. But it started with, we really want to train up and equip healed heart healers. That's always been what seemed to be, at least from the conversations from whenever I started with you, that seemed to be your mission, your vision. Train up, equip. The verb may have changed, but healed heart healers. So what does that look like? And then as I pulled that out of your head, and then was able to weave together what we call them program elements inside of core, what can help develop those skills for our students. And it's been really fun. It's been
Yeah.
really fun. And I so align with the mission of Healed Heart Healers. I personally have just entered this world in the last few years, and wow. I mean, its impact on me, I just fell in love right away with what you guys are doing. And so, but that's kind of how it happened there. And then we've launched, and everybody likes to say we're building the plane as we fly it. We have a frame.
Yeah, we do. Yep.
And we've got enough to fly. But, we're moving seats around on the inside, and we're deciding how much leg room there should be, and whether there should be carpet or lights. And I mean, lots of the stuff on the inside we're shaping and revising as we watch the students grow. And our students they're amazing. They're amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Are constantly giving us feedback about what they're learning and how they're growing. And so what you had in bits and pieces before, we've woven together, and it is exciting to see what's happening in there. So it's
really
fun to be a part of this.
I was just thinking as you were sharing that, you said people say we build the plane as we fly. It was in my head. Like I was thinking that when you said that, but you're right. We have the structure in place, and it's more of tweaking things here and there. But you kind of alluded to something, and I don't know if you feel comfortable sharing, but I know that the whole inner healing thing is newer to you. And I have been so delighted to watch you just by helping us build this and what you're experiencing in your own life, which I think might be worth sharing if you feel like it, if it feels comfortable to you, just a little bit about your personal experience in the inner healing space and what you're experiencing with Jesus, just as a result, since we've had you on board.
Yeah, I think I had my first inner healing session. It wasn't with Face to Face.
Okay.
At the end of 2021. And then into 20, and I had never experienced Jesus this way before. I mean, I'd been to a couple group things, which was brand new to me, and I had encountered him, but and I was a little nervous at first, which I think many are. But the first time through it, I was like, wow, I have known Jesus my whole life. I have never known him this way. And it was so amazing that I've kind of embarked on a journey, and it's been at the pace he decides. And so it's not like I've been racing after any kind of healing, but I've decided I want to encounter him this way regularly. I want to understand and meet with him and see what he's doing. And so when I came on board with Face to Face, it was an approach I didn't necessarily know anything about. I had experienced, but I didn't necessarily know the language, what things meant, what attuning. Now, attuning isn't just in Immanuel Approach, but I had never even heard it for life. So I was like, wow, I can use this. So it's being able to kind of see the parts of how the approach works, and to see you guys lead it when you do, and be a part of watching another person be a recipient, seeing our students learning myself more and more. Like, what does that mean, Immanuel, to be with me? Melinda has a word, witness, that I've kind of adopted, and I love that word. I love some of the things that I've learned from you guys about how Jesus interacts, and then watching him there has just profoundly changed what I understand about who he is and how he wants to know me and interact with me. And so I've learned more than I've been able to give for what you guys, what's happening in core and Face to Face. So I feel like this has been as big a blessing to learn about knowing Jesus this way, connecting with him this way, just profound. So
how would you say that it's impacted your day-to-day life, or your relationships with your family or friends, or just how you see yourself, how you see God?
Well, first, he is so much kinder and gentler than we ever understand when we read who he is on the page. And so experiencing him this way, not only is it amazing for me, but then when I'm interacting with my son or my 8-year-old who's bouncing off the walls, or my husband, and I want to react one way. I'm like, wait, Jesus, how would you do this? Wait, he's like, how was I with you? And it changes how I choose to interact and be with them, because he's shown me so personally what he's like with me there in a session. Now I've seen him in other sessions, watching, like as I'm doing editing the training or doing tech for the demos and things. And I see how kind he is, how loving he is, how patient he is. And he knows what each person needs. So I even ask that when I'm at a place with my son where I'm like, I don't know what to do. Lord, what does he need? You know it. Can you show me? And those are questions I would never have asked before.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it's making me a gentler and more loving spouse and mother and friend.
Wow.
That's one big way that it's affecting me.
No,
That's
thanks
huge.
for answering that. I just put you on the spot. So I feel like when someone can, and I'm an outward processor, and I think you are too, somewhat, not as much as I am maybe, but when you can reply in such a cohesive way, it shows that really has taken anchor in you. And it's not like, oh, this is sort of ethereal knowledge that I'm learning, but you're able to see how it is applied to your life and things like that. That this is why one of the reasons we do what we do is, even if they're subtle things, and that, it's not always a big life-changing experience as far as heart healing. You hear those dramatic stories and they're wonderful. And I used to give that example. I was a drug addict, prostitute living on the streets, and I got healing. And the next day I was making $10,000 a month and had a husband and 2 kids, and all is well. And it's like, yes, there are those dramatic stories, but and people really some have come from incredible trauma and traumatic backgrounds. And yet I would say larger majority could be that we all have experienced trauma. We've all, like, you can't get out of this world without experiencing that. A lot of trauma, the absence of things that we've needed. And so we don't necessarily have this huge before and after testimony. But when we look at how God has changed us incrementally, and that transformation has happened and anchored in our heart, in our body, in our brain, literally in our nervous system, and then we can see on a day-to-day basis how that's impacting our life, that's powerful. Yeah. And that is testimony to what God's doing, even in the subtle ways that are not necessarily hugely overt, but the witness, when we can experience the witness, Immanuel, God with us, the witness of God, and then being able to learn the skills of attunement. You feel seen, you feel heard, you feel listened to, you feel like you belong, you feel loved, and being able to do that to the Walmart cashier. And even if it's 5 seconds of I'm attuning with this person, seeing them, and that can bring healing and transformation too. So it's being able to look at healing and not this out over there big thing, but how does it look in my everyday life? And I feel like that's an important message to convey to our listeners, to our viewers, of what we're doing. It's not just for them out there who have huge trauma. It's for all of us. Yeah. So that we can then really walk in our full true identity, walk in who God really has created us to be. And that has a profound impact on those around us, whether you have children or not, whether you have grandchildren or not. The ripples go far and wide, and that's how we bring transformation to our community and to the world, really.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that we've done with the core program is inviting people to learn how to facilitate this. But what we've realized over time, as we've done a couple of events to invite people into that, and we have a lot of people who are really interested in the Immanuel Approach, learning about it, getting to know the basics, people who want to incorporate it in their lives. Maybe they want to embark on their own healing journey, and they're not quite ready yet to do the facilitator role. And part of becoming a facilitator is embarking on your own healing journey. that's all part of it. The way that we train is not just in methodology. We want you to have your own heart healing and also grow in maturity and learning how to grow your capacity and resilience so that you don't get triggered if you're leading a session with somebody or whatever. But one of the things we're about to do, and as another beautiful reason to have Jill on this podcast and have the timing right now, is we want to create a space, hold space, invite you into a space where you can embark on your own healing journey and receive some one-on-one sessions and be part of a community of people that are all going after having their hearts healed and to have their hearts made whole, and to do that in the context of community. And so, Jill, we can talk just a little bit about what's coming up on next week, which is May 13 to 17, and what we're planning to do as a way to invite people to come in to be a part of our community and have their own healing journey. They've got to embark on that first anyway. And so for people that may never even want to be a facilitator, they can have an opportunity to experience the Immanuel Approach, experience community, and have their own journey kickstarted. So can we talk about that for just a minute? What's happening and what we're planning?
Yeah. You asked about my story, so I'm going to kind of springboard from there.
Absolutely.
I have not learned to facilitate. And part of my not stepping yet into facilitation and training to be a facilitator is that I've just begun my heart healing journey. And so as I'm in sessions and as I am and sharing it with others, and I'm learning at, as Melinda, I love that you asked me its impact, because part of the healing, I believe, is or the healing journey is saying, I'm not just going to go and then it's over. I'm going to process it. I'm going to press in with it, with Jesus. And I'm going to ask to, how can that be part of my life every day? How can I be different? How can I choose appreciation? How can I choose the process of what appreciation does for me and press in with you these ways? That's that maturity piece. I want more of that. So that's the journey I'm on. And in the middle of that, I know that enough of that kind of healing journey has to happen before I want to facilitate. And there's plenty that have already started this and far enough along that they're ready to facilitate, but there's many that are saying, I'm just starting my journey, or I want to start a journey. I don't even know how, but I want what you guys are talking about. And so we decided to put together this Connect with Jesus challenge. So last fall and in January, we ran Connect Others with Jesus for those interested in facilitation. And now we're moving into Connect with Jesus, because that's where it starts. That's where it starts. And so next week, we're going to be taking you through what the Immanuel Approach is, how it works, the brain science behind it, the biblical foundation of it, what it does to your emotions physiologically. How does it impact you? Then what does that look like to actually take this appreciation, this Immanuel Approach, and press in and encounter Jesus there? We want to show you, what does a one-on-one look like, and what does a group look like? If I were to say, yes, I want to start this journey, or I want to go do this journey, what does it look like? And that's what we want to show you next week. We want to introduce you to our trainers. We want to introduce you to the approach and the heart that is behind what you would be looking at and embarking on with your own healing journey. So that's where the challenge has.
And I think it's a really brilliant idea, because you may want to facilitate. That might be something you want to do. And we're happy to have conversations with you about how to get into the next cohort, because that is also launching here outside of, on the other side of this challenge. So if you're interested in that, absolutely come and join the challenge next week. Invite people to that. We'd love to have that really filled up with people to experience Jesus in a way that maybe they never knew possible. And I'll tell you, for me personally, the more I encounter Jesus in Immanuel Approach, as I lead and watch him work in someone else's life, my whole theology about who he is and how good he is has totally improved because I see how he is so much better than we think he is, and so much more gentle. And there are so many inner healing models. You guys know this podcast was built on bringing them all together. I mean, if you have listened to us for a minute, the whole first season and into the second was really about bringing the inner healing voices together. We honor all of them. We really do. We've settled on this one because we love how gentle it is. We love how easy it is to train lay leaders and people that maybe are not professional counselors or whatever. You can really take the basics of this model and learn them in a weekend, the basics. You can be helping somebody connect with Jesus. So we love the simplicity of that. And we just want to multiply that. And building the training program is part of, replicating that and being able to train trainers and release them to train as well. But it starts with your own heart work, right? It starts here. So that's what we're really focusing on this next week. But if you're interested in core, that's still an option for you. And you'll get to talk with Jill on the phone. Actually, she does she'll be happy to answer all those questions. But so Jill, we've got registration for that up and running if anybody's interested in joining us. So emmanueltraining.com/challenge. So IMMANUEL training, emmanueltraining.com/challenge, all lowercase. And then you can get signed up to be part of that. And we're actually charging a small registration fee that we're going to be donating. We've got one of our coaches is training people in Israel and equipping them with these tools so that they're able to minister to those that are impacted over
and all
there.
The proceeds are going to that. And also another reason that we ask people to invest is that when people are investing even a small amount, then there's more personal investment, and and people show up. When you just do free stuff, which primarily we've done, and I've done a ton of them. I don't know about you guys. I mean, they come across your plate all the time. It can be anything: how to watch birds challenge, growing dreadlocks in 7 days challenge, but not doing that one. But like, you'll start seeing a challenge for every single thing under the sun, some free, some cost up to $29, $27, $15, whatever. And the reason for that investment, it really is an investment, especially you'll be investing in the lives of those who can't afford it, who are getting trained to serve and help bring healing to those that are caught in the conflict going on in Israel. But also, like I was saying, when we invest even a little bit, it, as they say, put skin in the game. It's we
pay attention to what we pay for. Isn't
we
that
do.
What Jill has said? We pay attention.
And even if it's just a little bit. And so that's the reason for the charge.
It's $7, y'all.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
And it's all going to those who are helping, like we were saying, to Israel. So to help those that are struggling in that conflict. So we'd love to see you there. You really can't lose either way. And the replays will be available. And there's really no reason why you can't be there.
So we'll see everybody there. Jill, thank you so much for all of your amazing input and help in developing what we're doing here. And thank you for saying yes and taking a chance on us, and really excited about having you on board. And you really are acting as executive director at this point, and it has been a missing piece for us. And so y'all pray for Jill. She's got to keep us both in line and keep us
organized. That's more like, Lord help me. I need 6 Jills.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot. There's a lot on.
There's
all
a
these
lot
plates,
going
so
on,
that's
y'all.
why.
Which is why you haven't heard from us in a long time. But we are getting back up in gear here for podcasts, and we'll be releasing them more again. And we're on video now. We've got some video option, which is really exciting. We haven't done that before. So if you're listening in your car, you might want to check out YouTube, because we've got audio and video now. So any final comments from you, Jill, before we wrap it?
It has been a wild ride.
Yeah.
To be alone.
So what words are you going to choose? What descriptor are you going to
for the last 9 months? But I feel like what it's done in my own heart is way more than I could have imagined. When what's that scripture? Way more than you could think or imagine is what he has for us. That has been what I've experienced here. And the programs that we have, I really believe are the best in class for training in this approach. And the heart healing journey that we're newly releasing and excited to tell you guys about next week during this Connect with Jesus challenge is going to be incredible too. And so I hope to see all of you there. We're going to be on Zoom and in this Facebook group. And thank you for listening.
Absolutely.
And what's the address again where they can sign up?
ImmanuelTraining.com/challenge. Thanks so much for listening.
Thanks, Jill. And thank you all Jill. For listening.
Thank you for listening to today's podcast. This is a listener-supported podcast, and if you have received value in any way from our content, we would truly appreciate you to partner with us financially, and you can do that by going to our website, facetofaceministries.org/give for tax-deductible giving. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.